Hey, it's Mully and the team coming to you with a fall market update. So, what's going on in Northern Colorado real estate? I've got kind of a synopsis of what's going on in the market, why things are the way they are, why it's been kind of a strange year in the market. And then I've got tips for buyers and sellers moving forward. What do you need to do if you're thinking about being a buyer or a seller? And then I've got some hot predictions for the next 12 months. So, first off, why we're in a funny market is, of course, two things. Number one, mortgage interest rates have been consistently high over the last almost year and a half. So we saw interest rates go as high as almost 8% on average and then come down. Most of 2024, we've been in the 6%, six and a half, 6 3/4 for your average 30-year mortgage. The next headwind is, of course, the election. We're in an election year. We're hearing from a lot of people that they're just uneasy about the uncertainty of what's going to happen with the election and afterwards. I want to debunk both of these myths because number one, mortgage rates on average are a little bit higher than they have been in the last number of years. But as you've heard me been saying, there are so many opportunities to get an interest rate lowered right now because one, sellers are negotiable and they're actually helping buyers buy down their interest rate. We just have recently gotten buyer clients 3.99% interest rate. Another one got a 4 1/4. And this is all while the average rate is almost 6.5. So it's really a myth that you're locked into higher rates right now. There's so many opportunities to get better interest rates while other buyers are scared and on the sidelines. The election myth I want to debunk here too, because regardless of who gets elected, traditionally the data shows that the real estate market improves every time after an election. So in the months after an election, people kind of calm down, get back to their life, and they get back into buying and selling like normal. So really it doesn't sway home ownership or home values all that much who's in office. So I think that's just a little bit of a mental block for folks or an excuse that, and I get it. It's kind of scary. Every time you turn on the news or look at social media, there's distraction about the election. And regardless of which side you're on that, just know that by the data, it's not going to majorly impact your real estate holdings or your equity. Love to debate that with you if you think otherwise, but the data shows that it's going to be a fine market after the election no matter what. And so this has created an environment that we have more homes for sale than we have had in 10 years in Northern Colorado. And we've had the most good deals we've had in over a decade. So let's start with buyers. If you're thinking about buying, if you're a first-time buyer, it's an awesome time to be thinking about buying right now before the market swings back to a seller's market, probably in 2025. Because like I said, there's so many good deals, so many negotiable sellers, ways to get your interest rate lowered permanently. We just had a buyer, first-time buyer, get a home for $50,000 under list price. So there's just lots of opportunity to walk into equity for less than the home is even appraised for. So you just instantly building wealth. So if you're a first-time buyer, it blows renting out of the water. Stop paying rent. Secondly, if you're a move-up buyer, so you've got a home that you own and you want to move up into your dream home or your next home, it's a pretty good time. You just have to be thinking about this because if you do have to sell your home first, we have to make sure that it can move in a market that's moving slower. Not every home is selling quickly, and not every home is selling for list price. So we have to make sure that the home shows awesome and we price it right. And you may not get the bidding wars or the high prices that we saw in the last few years, but it's still a pretty decent time to sell. I mean, sellers are on average getting about 97 to 98% of their list price. So if you're trying to both buy and sell at the same time, let's talk about our Mully move up method, which is designed specifically for that situation. We've got 3 to 4 different options to help you buy and sell at the same time, stress-free, and make it all happen seamlessly. Next, if you're a downsized buyer, so you're getting out of your larger home, you're ready to get into a simpler, maybe single level living, less yard to maintain, less house to maintain, really actually a good time to make this move because you have so much equity likely. If you've been in this home for, over 7 or 8 years, you've probably got so much equity built up in your current home that you're going to be just fine. You're going to be a very strong buyer when you walk in. Like I said, for these good buying deals that are in the market right now, you can carry your equity over. Even if you're not in the red hot seller's market, you've got such a nice cushion there that makes you a really strong buyer in the market. So think about the downsize right now before we get back to crazy seller's market. And then if you're an investor, if you've been interested in real estate investing for cash flow, now is actually the best time to buy in the last probably 5 years, because bidding wars and prices ramping up have basically made cash flow really hard to come by in Northern Colorado. But now again, there's more negotiable sellers, more discounted deals. You can actually get into some opportunities. We've got some really unique niche investing opportunities that are getting more cash flow than the average rental. So talk to us about that in student housing and group housing. We've got some categories that you need to be looking at as an investor. So if you're a seller, got 3 different scenarios to give you here. One, if you're only selling, you just have a home to sell and you've got nothing to buy, I'd say wait. If we're in the Q4 of 2024, I would wait to let this market come back around in the Q1 or Q2 of 2025 back into a better seller's market. So if you're only selling, I would say push pause. Let's at least still chat about what your home's worth, and we can track the value and really keep a pulse on the market heading into next year to make sure that we capture the best price for you. If you're selling and buying at the same time, like I said, it's possible. It's still a great time to do that because you can actually get your offer accepted with a home to sell. Whereas in a bidding war, it's really hard to get that done. But we have to price your home right. And then if you're selling, but you can buy first, like if you can qualify to buy when there's good discount opportunities, that is the money zone. So you can buy at the good deal, get instant equity on the buy side, and then wait a few months until we're back into the seller's market and capture the best of both worlds. So 4 predictions for you in 2025. It's going to be a great buying window for the rest of 2024. So the rest of 2024 and even probably into January and into February, really good discounts and good buying opportunities. So pay attention if you're thinking about buying. By March, I predict it will be back towards the seller's market, okay? As interest rates start to come down, which they will, more buyers are going to come into the market. All the buyers from the last 18 months that have been waiting on the fence are going to come back to the market, and it's going to create kind of another seller's market where everybody's clamoring to get homes. So jump in before then and let's zig when everybody zags. Another prediction is that interest rates for mortgages will get back down into the 5s in 2025. Okay, so keep an eye on that. That's going to spur a lot of the demand. But again, if you've made your move before everybody else sees that news mid-year or next spring, you'll be sitting on a nice pile of equity because you bought at a discount right now. And finally, I think 2025, all the data is looking like will be a good appreciation year. So if you're a homeowner, your asset of real estate will appreciate in 2025. It did in 2024. We were a mellow appreciation year, pretty flat, 2 to 3% appreciation depending on where you were at this year. But 2025 could start to push back towards another 5 or even 10% appreciation year. So good news for wealth building for those of you that are staying put in your home for some time. Really good news for your asset. So if any of these scenarios make you curious, or you want to see how the numbers look for your own specific situation, we have no obligation strategy calls available to just run through the numbers, see where you're sitting on your buy side, on your sell side. And it's great to know where you're at, even if you're not thinking of making a move. Just know how much equity you've got. So respond to the email or shoot us a note, and we can sit down for a portfolio review with you. Thanks a bunch, and talk soon.